I have 16 and a half books to read in 4.5 weeks, and this is basically the books that I'm going to read, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Going all to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So as you can see, I've ended up in a situation, and you're probably wondering, how did you get into this situation? Well, let me tell you. I discovered BookTube in May this year, and I was obsessed with buying books. I used to watch reviews on books all day, and I set myself a reading challenge to read 20 books this year. Unfortunately, I fell off the wagon, and I've not actually read as many books as I used to. And when I started reading, I was whizzing through the books, so I basically made my challenge harder, and I said I would read 40 books for the year. Yeah, we're now 4.5 weeks left of the year, and I've still only read 13 books. So I thought I'd set myself another challenge to read 17 books in 4.5 weeks. Do we think this is possible? I think it's possible, because when I put my mind to anything, I can do it. So I will give a brief overview of what the books are about, because realistically I don't actually know. Some of these books, I've heard other people talk about them and they sounded interesting, so I've added them to my list. So I will be looking at my phone, because I'm looking at the Goodreads book description. And if you don't know what Goodreads is, it's an app that basically has everything to do with books on it. It has every single book, and you can put, if you want to read it, so put it in like a reading wish list if you're currently reading it, and if you've already finished it, you can also set challenges and follow your friends as well. So I have 16 and a half books to read in 4.5 weeks, and this is basically the books that I'm going to read, and this is how I'm going to do it. So the first book on my list is the book I'm currently reading, which is called Things Fall Apart. It's about pre-colonial Nigeria, and it follows a man called Okonkwo, who is a strong man, and the desire to be strong puts him in a terrible situation where he accidentally kills a clansman, and he ends up exiled from his tribe and his village. And then when he returns, colonizers have basically come and taken over, and you know, his world just starts to fall apart, hence the name Things Fall Apart. The next book I'm going to read is The Night She Disappeared, and this is basically about a teenage mum. She's 19, her name's Tallulah, and she's killed when she goes on like a date or a party. I think is it a date? Yeah, she's going out on a date, and then 2 years later there is another character called Sophie, who basically finds like a dig hair sign, and she obviously starts investigating, and the two kind of link together. I think it's like a murder mystery, so I think that would be a really, really good book to read. Next on my list, I have The Inheritance Game. I don't know if the character's a girl or boy, but Avery Grimes has a plan for a better future: survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But it's a girl. Her fortunes change in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves Avery virtually his entire fortune. The catch? Avery has no idea why. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that Tobias Hawthorne just dispossessed. Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. It just sounds really interesting. So I bought the trilogy, which has The Inheritance Games, The Hawthorne Legacy, and The Final Gambit. Next on my list is 1,000 Splendid Suns. Mariam is only 15 when she's sent to Kabul to marry the troubled and bitter Rashid, who is 30 years her senior. Ew, he's 45, yuck. Nearly 2 decades later, in a climate of growing unrest, tragedy strikes 15-year-old Layla, who must leave her home and join Mariam's unhappy household. The streets of Kabul loud with the sound of gunfire and bombs, life a desperate struggle against starvation, brutality, and fear, the women's endurance tested beyond their worst imaginings. Yet love can move people to act in unexpected ways, lead them to overcome the most daunting obstacles with a startling heroism. In the end, it is love that triumphs over death and destruction. I'm sorry, but the description alone, what? That sounds amazing. I love things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna read 1,000 Splendid Suns. Let's hope I don't cry. We have another thriller. It's called 5 Survive, and This I saw on YouTube and it hooked me. So the way the girl described it is basically 6 friends go on a kind of spring break type of trip where they go camping, and there's basically a target on one of their backs, but they don't know which one. So their car breaks down and they end up stranded, and yeah, someone's trying to kill one of them, but they don't know who the person is, and there's nobody to help them. They're all alone, they're in the middle of nowhere, there's no mobile phone reception, and one by one the friends realize that there's someone out to kill one of them. Obviously it's called 5 Survive, so one of them is gonna die because initially 6 of them go out. I have another thriller, so The Wife Between Us. When you read this book, you'll make many assumptions. You will assume you're reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she's obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. Now this again is my type of book. I love the idea of a woman or a man obsessed with their ex-partner, and then they get a new partner, and oh, let's see, do I have any more thrillers? Oh, I do. The Family Game. Wait, what? Traditions. Oh, I know. Oh, losing this game could be deadly. Destroy everything. What? So basically it's about a girl who is set to marry a guy, and she goes to their house over Christmas. She gets a cassette tape that has a shocking confession on it, and she tries to figure out the truth. But while she's doing that, she has to go through the traditions of the family. But losing the game could essentially cause, I'm guessing, a loss of life, because it says it could be deadly. So this sounds really, it's giving Saw, but as a family edition. But it's cool. We're gonna read it. So next on my list, I have another thriller. As you can see, I'm a thriller addict. We have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So the case is closed. 5 years ago, schoolgirl Andy Bell was murdered by Sal Singh. The police know he did it. Everyone in town knows he did it, but having grown up in the same small town that was consumed by the murder, Pippa Fitz and Moby isn't so sure. When she chooses the case as the topic for her final year project, she starts to uncover secrets that someone in town desperately wants to stay hidden. And if the real killer is still out there, how far will they go to keep Pip from the truth? Now this is like a typical thriller, a girl that is really venturing into business that she has no means to get into, but she does it anyway, and now someone's out to kill her. Now I love these type of books because me personally, I'm not going to involve myself in that in real life. If someone has a secret that they don't want other people to know, can't see, can't hear, it's not my business. I have a book called You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is about a girl who wants to basically live this lavish life and enjoy the life that she's living, but her job is a dead end and she can't find love, and she meets these 2 sisters who have everything that she wants, and she becomes friends with them, and she would do anything for them. Like she would die, it says she would die for them to like her, and she might actually have to. So that tells me that something sinister is gonna happen, because she really is begging them to be her friends. Now me personally, if you don't like me, then you know, that's that. But would I die for someone to be my friend? No. So I'd love to know what is so amazing about these girls that she would die to be their friends. So next on my list, I have some Christmas books, because I thought I want to read Christmas books since it's Christmas, you know, Christmas is coming up. Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I have 6 Christmas books. I think I might find a 7th one and do 7 Christmas books in 7 days as a video. Okay, so the next book that I'm going to read is called In the Holidays, and this is the first of many Christmas books. So this book is basically about a girl who literally, I think she makes a romantic mistake, that's what it's described as, and she basically pleads with the universe to help her fix it. And she ends up going on like a little trip with her family in a cabin, and when they're leaving the trip, she essentially ends up in a car accident, and when she wakes up, it's the beginning of the trip again, so she relives that again, and it's kind of like a time loop, I guess. but it gives her the opportunity to figure out how to fix her mistake. So will she finally get to find romance? We'll find out. The thing is, I love Christmas movies, so I feel like this book, I'm gonna imagine it in my head as if it was a Christmas movie, and I'll really enjoy it. The next book is Resting Scrooge Face. So this is about a girl called Nola who doesn't want to have anything to do with Christmas because she's had a bad breakup. And then to make it worse, Caleb, the boy who broke her heart years ago, is all grown up and living in the same town as her. Like, what? So now you have to see this guy around. So while doing her best to avoid him, she bumps into the local mailman who gives her a mysterious letter. And when she finds that the writer is a fellow Scrooge, so someone who also hates Christmas, she can't help but feel her spirit uplifting. Can these nameless pen pals write their own love story? Now, again, I love this type of storyline because I think it's really funny when two people hate each other, but like it's clear that they're supposed to be together. I think that would be an interesting read. Next is Window Shopping. So this book is essentially about a girl who is standing looking at a window display, and she's insulting the window display and saying it's like the most hideous thing ever. The guy that owns the window display, and essentially the shop, is standing right next to her, and she's insulting it to him, and he basically hires her to redo the whole display. As she's doing that, I'm guessing she falls in love with him, and it's about that story. So people that try to not fall in love with each other, again, is a storyline that I enjoy watching. So we'll see if I enjoy reading it. Next, I have The Holiday Swap, which is about these twins who they have different lives, and they basically have to swap because one of the twins is a baker and she is doing like a TV show or competition or something, and she basically ends up not being able to smell or taste the food. So her sister, who's also a baker but works in a bakery, they swap lives, and obviously they fall in love with people, but they're living a lie, they're living as each other. Will the truth come to light? We will see, who knows. Yeah. And that's basically it. So will the twins' identity swap be a recipe for disaster, or does it have all the right ingredients for getting their lives back on track? Like, obviously at some point you guys are gonna have to swap back. So where do we go from there? I'd love to obviously get to the end of that book. And then we have A Very Merry Bromance. Now this is a book that I saw on YouTube actually yesterday, and I thought, this is interesting. It says, "'Tis the season for a bromance book club matchmaking mission." This time, they're pulling out the mistletoe for everyone's favorite country music star, Colton, and his second chance at love. Later, Colton is struggling to push his music forward. I don't know if I will like this book. He's wallowing in self-pity. I have no idea, but people said the book is good, so I'm just gonna read it because people said it's good. Next, I'm gonna be reading "'Tis the Season for Revenge." I'm actually excited to read this. So Abby Keller thought that Richard Bartholomew, like what a name, Benson, the third, can you imagine having to say that name all the time, would be her forever. That is, until he leaves her crying outside her apartment wearing a Halloween costume, having broken it off with her because she's just not serious enough. She was just fun, he tells her. Trash. Abby starts dating the founding part of Richard's law firm, Damien Marty. With one thing in mind, convincing him to invite her to the annual Christmas party as his date. What? But when the relationship starts to become something more than casual dating, Abby sees the tough New York lawyer has a soft side. Will she be able to follow through with her plan of deceit? Oh my goodness, I can't wait to read this book. And the last book on my list is called The Fixer Upper. So this is a romantic comedy. A woman who has a knack for turning her boyfriend's lives around starts a professional service to help wrangle men, only to be unexpectedly matched with an old flame. Oh, before long, high-profile Instagram hires them to fix up her app developer boyfriend. It's her best friend and first love. Oh my god. This is the biggest fixer-upper yet, and she'll have to come to terms with their complicated history. Oh my goodness. Oh, that sounds harsh. So yeah, those are the 17 books that I would like to read in 4.5 weeks. Now, I'm really sorry if this video is long, but here's my plan of action. I'm gonna do challenges. So I'm thinking of doing at least like 2 read with me for 24-hour challenges, and I'm definitely doing read 7 books in 7 days. So that cuts out like 7 of the books, providing I'm successful at that, which of course I will be. So if you are interested in any of these things, then please subscribe, because these videos are coming very, very soon. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing my mad plan. If you are in a reading slump, I've given you 17 books that you can read that are actually really interesting, and I'm very excited to read. But for now, I have to start reading. So I'm gonna stop this video because I have a lot of words to check.